Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this beautiful, soulful Sunday. Welcoming all you soulful, lovely ladies and men. All right, let's close our eyes. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Once again, inhale and exhale. Inhaling in good, positive energy. Releasing all negative, stale energy. Inhaling freedom from anything and everything that you may think is tying you, weighing you down. Exhale any bondage, any unnecessary attachment. Just exhale and release yourself. Inhale beautiful blessings and exhale beautiful blessings from every cell fiber of your being. Keep blessing the world, maybe for selfish reasons, knowing that whatever you give comes back to you multiplied many times. Inhale strength and exhale strength and wish that the world heals. Inhale light and exhale light, brightening the world of many more. Now let's bow our heads in gratitude to our parents who were instrumental in bringing us on Mother Earth, who we chose at a spirit level. Think of them and be very grateful for their presence in your life in whichever form. Think of your grandparents and be grateful for all the life lessons you've learned, or for all the love that you've soaked in, if you have. Think of your ancestors, where each of them sowed some seeds into your family tree, which are also somehow coming in you. Bow our heads in gratitude to a higher self for having chosen this body and giving me an identity by choosing my name and my family and my environment for furthering its purpose. Let's be grateful to our both hemispheres of our mind, the conscious and subconscious, for making us analytical and yet wise. Let's be grateful for our heart, for it beats effortlessly and it's becoming expansive by the day. Let's be grateful to our lungs for breathing in so beautifully, allowing us the gift of life. Let's be grateful to our digestive system for allowing us to digest not only the food, but so many things in life and reminding us to learn about acceptance. Even though it tends to flush out what it doesn't like, teaching us a lesson that even we should be able to see everything, accept everything, and delete whatever is not required. As simple as that. Let's be grateful to our legs, for they teach us the lesson to move forward in life. Let's be grateful for the water and the food that we drink. So much of abundance, never dearth of it for us at least. And let's wish the same for everybody. May the energy the food and the water carry help earthlings become better version of themselves. Let's be grateful for the houses we live in, for the gadgets that we have, enabling us to learn, to grow, to become protected, sheltered. Let's be grateful for all the family and friends that we have around us, without whom there would be no compassion, no kindness, no love. So many lessons we learn from them. Let's just be grateful. Let's be grateful to our universe, which always has our back, whether we know it or we don't. It is just that we radiate in a different bandwidth, and then a surprise happens, something unexpected happens, which we're not even prepared for. And then we say, I asked for something, but I got something. Maybe be able to trust whatever is unfolding for us, because the universal, the cosmic timing is always divine. May we be grateful for ourselves as a full body, as a full mind, having a heart, mind, body, and soul. We are wanting to work on our own soul's journey. Tap into its vastness, its expansiveness. A soul that has traversed eons of lives, making us more wise than we can even think of, more knowledgeable than we can even think of, and yet we doubt. So may we trust this trust. We are a powerhouse. Let's know it, let's affirm it. Now let's affirm wherever I turn, prosperity follows. If you wish, you can say it loudly because your body will hear it. I'm willing to change. I'm willing to grow as a better person. I'm willing to love and accept myself the way I am, knowing that change is always constant. Affirming that I love and approve of myself, or I'm willing to love and approve of myself. Affirming that love is everywhere. I am loved. I am lovable. I am loving. Let's affirm I am whole, perfect, kind, compassionate, harmonious, powerful, loving, and joyously happy. I am joyful. I always see the bright side of life, and that helps me live very beautifully because I tap into my vastness. And even though negative things unfold, they don't shake me anymore because I know this too shall pass. With all these beautiful thoughts, let's again affirm to ourselves that life agrees with me. It is not against me. That all is beautifully, blessedly well. that on a daily level, I assimilate the new, and that to every moment of every day. Let's affirm the world is safe and friendly, and I am blessed whatever I desire comes true for the highest good of me and the others around me. I'm learning to be at peace with myself, to enjoy my own company, because I can be my own best friend with the books that I can surround myself with. And now, even if people nudge me, want to shake me, I am unshaken, undeterred, unnudged. I don't allow people to enter my space. So one can say, affirm for this. I've created my own safe space where I'm confident, balanced, and aligned. And so it is. So it is. So it is. With a lot of grace, by being blessed, let's start our beautiful, blessed morning by reading this wonderful book that we're continuing from the last 15 days, Messages from the Masters. Today marks our 15th day, and today is also the Independence Day of India. So let's celebrate it by becoming free of whatever negative baggage, garbage we were holding on. It's time to unclutter our very beings. For centuries, many Asian cultures, including the Chinese, Japanese, and Korean, have recognized the healing energies and currents that course through our bodies. They have worked with these energies and even mapped out the characteristics of energy flow and intensity. The Chinese call this energy chi or ki, the Japanese ki, and Indians call it prana. These cultures have fostered experts on the mind body connections that I have been fortunate enough to work with some of them. On two separate occasions, I've had the opportunity to regress physicians from mainland China, both for also masters of energy work and healing. The first doctor was a study of the subject of a study at the physics department at New York University, NYU. He asked me to be a liaison since I was a physician who was well known in China, where my books have been bestsellers. The Chinese physician spoke no English, so he worked out with an interpreter. Curious whether my techniques were similar to those of the master with whom we had studied as a youth, he asked what we attempt a regression. He slipped into a deep hypnotic state and experienced an interesting past life memory. Afterwards, he commented that our techniques were indeed very similar. Then he asked if I had seen and experienced his past life scenes as if we were watching the same movie together. No, I answered. Sometimes I get premonitions of what is going to happen, but I don't actually see what is happening in your mind. A pity, he replied to the interpreter. My master could. On the other occasion, a famous Chinese physician visited me in Miami and demonstrated a powerful Qigong healing. In return, she requested a past life regression, and I agreed. She also spoke no English, but she traveled with a translator. She went under very deeply. Within a few minutes, she was vividly recalling a past life scene in San Francisco more than 100 years ago. She began speaking fluent English during the recall. The interpreter, a trained professional, did not miss a beat. He immediately turned to me and began translating into Chinese. I stared at him for a moment. He then pointed out that he did not need to do that. The shocked look on his face conveyed his realizations. He knew she could not speak a word of English. Psychoanalysis and psychoanalytically oriented psychotherapies are in their death throes. Techniques are outmoded, slow, and ineffective. Language has become encrusted, formalized, impenetrable. There is no lifeblood in psychotherapy these days, just arid and monolithic structures, just dust. Not enough people can be reached, especially one at a time. And to even these few, the worn out, agonizingly slow, cold, and distant approach of these therapies will not suffice. One neurosis is replaced by another in traditional therapy. Outward functioning, not inner peace and joy, is a measure of success. There is no transformation of the individual or of society. The economic disintegration is evident. People cannot afford the 50-minute hour 4 to 6 times a week for anywhere from 13 to 15 years. Most people can't even afford to come in weekly. Insurance policies and managed care are drastically limiting payments. Freud and his disciples made important contributions to our understanding of the functioning of mind, the existence of the unconscious childhood sexuality, and to dream analysis. But psychoanalysis has no spiritual roots and cannot release the spiritual nature of humans. Freud may not have seen his theories as terminal, but the disciples set them in stone. Jung was a maverick and ahead of his time. He understood the mysterious, the spiritual, the supernatural, but he was surrounded by those chiseling in stone. One major flaw of psychoanalysis and related traditional psychotherapy is the concept of ego repair. The ego is the I, the executive function, the part of us that has to integrate and deal with everyday reality. It is our ordinary or everyday mind. The everyday mind is logical, rational, has to make decisions, uses thoughts and memories, plans for and worries about the future, and broods about the past. It is always making judgments, putting thoughts in our minds, reviewing the data of the past, asking questions like, what suppose and what if? Unfortunately, most psychotherapists are constantly trying to repair our damaged egos. Our egos get bruised as they see it, but our critical and dysfunctional parents, our childhood traumas, our inescapable, limiting physical limitations as an infant, and so on. These therapists are always soothing or repairing or even hyperinflating our egos. In truth, we must learn to go beyond our egos. But surely we will fall apart. How can we function and survive without our egos and everyday minds in control? The answer is simple. Traditional therapists are stuck in the illusion that functioning is the ultimate goal, but inner peace and joy are actually much more important. If we can gradually decrease our concern with functioning and fitting into a society, with acquiring things and worrying about what other people are thinking about us, then we can gradually begin to increase our inner joy. Isn't this true? When we are doing things for showing to society a particular way that they will accept us, then it's upra-upri, it's superfluous. And that does not increase our inner peace and joy. In fact, it troubles it even more because inner peace and joy is not about materialistic things. When do you enjoy the most? A fresh breath of wind that blows you. You're like, maza aa gaya. So refreshing. Or a very nice company with lots of laughter. And you're like, it's such a beautiful afternoon. Or with nice, soulful conversations. Our life is so simple. But what have we done? We are trapped in this idiotic, sick society. And now the latest versions of us, kind of robotic. We are so addicted to our smartphones or laptops or TVs. I doubt there is any one of us here who says that मैं दिन में ना मोबाइल यूज करता हूँ, ना लैपटॉप यूज करता हूँ, ना टीवी यूज करता हूँ. But if we actually get out of this world, and if we stop constantly worrying, analyzing, thinking, brooding, our ego is preventing us from truly being in the present, from climbing out of the rut of habit and conditioning. ऐसा नहीं करा तो ऐसा हो जाएगा, ऐसा नहीं करा तो ऐसा हो जाएगा. डर, डर, डर. That's what is also another part of ego. not trusting the process. How can we see things as they really exist in the present when our past conditioning and assumptions, our preconceived ideas, biases, and prejudices are constantly getting in our way? We must control this ego in order to save ourselves and ultimately our world. Again, each one of us stops assuming, stops pre-thinking कि ऐसा होगा, and drop our past conditioning कि ये ऐसा है. Past conditioning could be job अच्छा नहीं है, business होना चाहिए, लड़की गोरी है, काली, whatever, और मोटा पतला, और इतना तो कमाना ही चाहिए, इस टाइप का घर में तो रहना ही चाहिए, इतनी गाड़ी तो होनी चाहिए, इतना ज्वेलरी तो होना ही चाहिए. These are past conditioning. These are a boost to the ego, prejudice, false pride that I, it's bigger, bigger, bigger. But actually, we are just this, the small I. But what are we becoming? The big I. And that gets in our spiritual growth. We must control this. Psychoanalysis is essentially unspiritual. It is sterile discipline. It teaches nothing about immortality, the survival of the soul after physical death, about the real values in life. It stops short of the real questions and issues. When it does work, it is because therapist connects with the patient on a truly caring, compassionate level. The relationship is what heals. So very important for us to understand healing is our paramount, our birthright. Our soul has brought us on Mother Earth to heal the traumas that it is carrying, to learn lessons which were unlearned, to fill ourselves with love, light. And to do this, it's given us two forces, the light force, the sun force. If we start listening to a good 30, 40 minutes of good stuff every day, which is in its own ways therapeutic. Any teacher you pick up, any podcast you pick up, whether you pick up Brahma Kumaris or whether you pick up some other spiritual teacher, whether you pick up anything that makes you happy, Vedanta, something from which you can learn. And believe you me, you will feel pata hai, but you feel good after the session. Why? Because it's a revision. Your soul has lived it, has felt it, but now it's revising and like, I like it. Our relationship with our learning must heal. A relationship with us must heal. Biological psychiatry can often fall short too. The new medicine to treat depression, mood swings, psychotic states are meant to end, meant to an end, not the end. Too many psychiatrists prescribe meditation, medications, and do nothing else. This is a tremendous waste. The medicines can help to make the patient accessible to the psycho-spiritual therapy that must then take place. To leave out the therapy is to leave out the entire essence of the treatment. For those of you who are still dependent on medication, talk to your bodies. Send healing, love, and light to your bodies and say, I would love to become independent. And talk to that organ of yours for which you're taking the medicine. That can we self-heal ourselves and can we drop these artificial medicines because they make us used to them. And gradually slow down. If you're having one, then start having 3/4, half, 1/4, and then stop. So that there is no like immediate shortfall. What we do need is sunlight. What we do need is moonlight. What we do need is starlight. How many of us gaze in the moonlight or the sunlight? How many of us welcome the night and the day? Morning time, mostly people are sleeping or doing something else, but not in the sun. And the best sun is when it just rises, not the 12 o'clock peak blaring sun. And moonlight and starlight. How many of go under that beautiful midnight darkness and just see the light there? Even though we live in cities, not every time are stars available, stars viewable, but 2, 3, 4 are. What if sometimes you just lie down there, take your chatai or your mat or what dari or whatever on your terrace or in your balcony, just put it there. Okay, 5 minutes, I'm going to just look at the universe and talk to it. And then, there one more thing which will happen is manifestation will become so much more stronger because you're talking to the universe about your dreams. You're having a dialogue with the universe. This is what I see myself doing. If you think this is right, then I want to live this life. Try and visualize with the universe as your friend, as your companion, and then see your healing happen. In addition, there are problems with most of the hundreds of self-help books out there. I wish therapy was so simple, a quick fix, but it is not. To reach a happy, satisfied, and joyful state is difficult. To maintain the state once reached is even more challenging. It is hard work to stay out of the rut, to search within, to truly understand oneself, to foster a sense of detachment and perspective. They're difficult tasks and they require patience and much practice. The journey is arduous and long, but well worth it. To be truly happy requires an understanding of life and of death, a loving, forgiving spiritual nature. This is who we are. Loving, forgiving, spiritual nature. Spiritual nature means what? Can anyone tell me? When we just flow towards love and see just the bright side and the light side of everything and carry ourselves lightly, we take ourselves too seriously. And that's the reason we can't forgive ourselves, because we have set a bar, expectation. And when we don't reach expectation, we have something short of it, we get depressed, we get sad because you haven't reached the mark. But to reach the mark, oftentimes we are compromising on the very quality that we are born with, which is love and light. But if the bar is set for love and light, then go for it. And that will give you so much more joy and happiness. It is hard work to stay out of the rut, to search within, to truly understand oneself, to foster a sense of detachment and perspective. These are difficult tasks and they require patience and much practice. The journey is arduous. Yes, it is. But can we become the loving, forgiving, spiritual self? Can we do introspection? How do we do introspection? Best is to just sit in a meditative state, introspect. And I feel even best is to journal. The mind has 72,000 thoughts in a day. How many thoughts? Everything is hojum, hojum, hojum. What if you start writing your introspection? And what are you introspecting about? Who am I? What am I? Or why do I do what I do? The way there is food for the body, the food for the mind is meditation. Just mindfulness and lovingly serve others. Acts of kindness on daily level, acts of charity on the daily level. Now, what could acts of kindness be? If you see cheaty and you just drop some sugar ka dana or some khana, yeah, that's kindness. How much money does it take? Not even a paisa. But beautiful acts of kindness and charity is very, very, very paramount. Kindness could even be smile at somebody and say, hey, you have a beautiful smile. If they have, or see something good about them and just compliment that and just see yourself, you will be growing more in love because you're being kind. These are some of the steps along the way. Practicing forgiveness of yourself first and others is very, very, very important. Practicing non-violence and good deeds, working to eliminate anger, fear, greed, self-centeredness, and false pride, these are yet more steps. How many of us live in false pride? मैंने ये किया, मैं घर संभाल रहा हूँ, मैं घर संभाल रही हूँ, मैं नहीं होंगी तो क्या होगा? I, me and am. अब मेरे पास इतना है, अब मुझे इतना चाहिए. मुझे डर है कि ये नहीं होगा तो मुझे गुस्सा आता है जब कोई मेरी बात नहीं सुनता तो, या मुझसे नेगेटिवली बात करता है तो मैं भी वापस झड़प देती हूँ या देता हूँ. We have to let these go. ये बैगेज जो हमने पहन रखा है, इसको उतार के फेंकना सिर्फ हमारे हाथ में और किसी के हाथ में नहीं है. बट अगेन, बॉडी को आदत है इन चीजों की, तो आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा? इनको निकाल के इनकी जगह कुछ और डालना पड़ेगा. अगर एंगर निकाला है तो उसकी जगह और लव डालना पड़ेगा. इट इज लाइक यू just closing your eyes and you're seeing yourself, like you're seeing yourself as a vessel. Okay, I throw out anger. Okay, and I put love. Throw out fear and I put in faith. I throw out greed and I put in content. I throw out self-centeredness and I put it selflessness. I take out false pride and I put in love and respect. Then your body is balanced. Because etheric level पे अगर आपने depletions कर दिए and कुछ additions नहीं करे तो it will become imbalanced. So when I talk about let go, I also say about accept, invite the good virtues in your life. And forgive yourself for giving place to all the negative virtues in your life, but also be grateful that because these negative virtues came in your life, you realize that, oh, these are not serving the purpose to make me a better person. In fact, they're pulling down my energy, and I probably become an energy vampire for others because when I do these greedy acts, I'm not a good person to be around. None of us will say here, गुस्से वाला इंसान मुझे अच्छा लगता है. या जो इंसान बहुत डर डर से बात करता है कि ये हो जाए तो वो हो जाए तो मेरी डेथ हो जाए तो इसके मैं ये कर रहा हूँ, या जो बहुत वो होता है ग्रीडी, नहीं तुमने इतना खरीदा तुम ये दो, मैं नहीं दे रहा, मेरा ये है वो है, या आई मी एंड आई एम, और मैंने ये किया, मैंने चिक चिल्ली की बातें करता है. डज एनी वन ऑफ अस लाइक दैट पर्सन? Then why do we have shades of that person in us? We may not be the complete person, but why do we have shades? And if we have, can we forgive ourselves that it's okay? कभी किसी consciousness में हमें वो feel हुआ होगा कि हमें इनको अपनाना है. But now that I know that they don't work for me, I drop them. And when I drop them, I pick up something else. Two negatives become a positive, they say, right? So drop the two negatives, add a positive, and you're sorted. नेगेटिव्स बहुत सारे होते हैं, पॉजिटिव्स कम होते हैं इन कंपैरिजन, बिकॉज एक पॉजिटिविटी 2 या 4 नेगेटिविटी भारी पड़ती है. बट इन अ ह्यूमन लाइफ उल्टा होता है. दैट्स आवर कंडीशनिंग. सो अच्छी चीजें करी, एक बुरा करा, वो बुरा ही याद रहता है, सो उस बुरे को निकाल बाहर करें. दिस इज टाइम टू, कल से जब फुल न्यू मून आता है, इट्स टाइम टू सरेंडर. बट थिंक अबाउट व्हाट यू वांट टू सरेंडर. Many therapists refuse to consider using regression techniques, particularly regression to past lifetimes, as many clinicians have repeatedly documented. Psychological and physical improvement, remissions, and cures often occur with dramatic rapidity. Whether in one session or 10, the result of regression therapy are long-lasting and life-changing. Spiritual growth, wisdom, inner peace usually accompany the clinical improvement. I've seen it for myself. My life took a turn around when I saw my past lives. I'm like, what am I doing? इस लाइफ में भी सेम. Then I change course, track बदला life का. So I got inner peace. At least I got some wisdom. At least I got spiritual growth. कि no. And it was life changing and hopefully long lasting. I believe there are two primary reasons why the medical and psychotherapeutic establishments are reluctant even to evaluate, let alone accept these relatively rapid, inexpensive, and safe new approaches. The first is fear. The second reason is economic. I went to a teacher who taught me a method called emotional deletion method. Not very easy to do, not at all. They say it's very easy, but it takes time to practice and to get there, and then it's super easy. When he helps all of us who are learning with him clear emotions, बीमारियां खत्म हो जाती. In a 20-minute session, he healed a woman of his cataract. मतलब that lady couldn't see, blurry vision, you could make out कि यहाँ पर आंखों में एक वो फिल्म डली हुई है, लाइक वो एकदम ब्लरी दिख रहा था, उनकी आंखें ही ब्लरी, थोड़ी सी डिस्टॉर्टेड लग रही थी. क्लियर करते 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 she cleared and she could see. Something that takes thousands of rupees and so much of aftercare can be sorted in 5,000 bucks with the healers. Now, isn't that called real healing, life changing? But why are these not yet in the mainstream? आपका business का भट्टा बैठ जाएगा ना. Medical industry is a business. People have been given targets. That is the reason आजकल इतना blood testing ये सब होता है. So, but are we ready to accept it? Are we ready for these inexpensive, life-changing approaches? When I delivered my second daughter, I delivered in water. No interference from anybody. They didn't even touch me. The baby came on her own. And my husband cut the cord. Finished. Chapter closed. Or I would say a new beginning, a new chapter began. Just so much is happening in this beautiful world. Are we ready to embrace it? People told me, बच्चा डूब जाएगा. अरे माँ की कोख में तो पानी होता है, बच्चा कैसे डूबेगा? उसको तो आदत है. She swam through and came and latched on my breast and started having her milk. Or whatever comes initially. So first ask yourselves, am I ready for my spiritual growth? Am I ready to let go of my old life conditioning? And am I ready to experiment with these new safe approaches and see if this experiment works? At the most, kya hoga? Fail ho jayega. But can I go with confidence and saying all is well and let me do it? And if you can, life is going to be beautiful. I'm not saying it is not now, but it's going to become absolutely great. We all know that fear of the unknown closes people's minds. That's why कहावतें हैं, a known devil is better than unknown one. क्यों? Unknown one could probably be an angel. लेकिन दिमाग बंद है कि जो दिख रहा है ना वही ठीक है, बाकी तो पता नहीं what if it happens. They become unwilling to take reasonable risk to try out the new. And I'm saying try out and see what happens. The other day when I didn't listen to my gut, my mind said, अरे पता है ना 1 hour 15 minutes में पहुंच जाएंगे, so let's take this rasta. But my analytical, like that was my heart talking to me, कि confirmed है. But my mind said कि नहीं, let's do this other thing. मेरा दिमाग कर रहा है कि let's go there. At the most क्या हुआ? सवा घंटे तो ये 1 hour 51 minutes पहुंची, 27 किलोमीटर चाहिए, 51 किलोमीटर लिया, but try तो किया. At least next time मुझे पता है कि क्या करना है. Reasonable risk तो ले ही सकते हैं ना हम. पास होने को पास हो जाए, फेल होने को फेल हो जाए. Therapists who are afraid to learn new techniques despite the greater efficacy, economy, and speed of the new techniques do a great disservice to their patients and to themselves. Because of fear, their instinct to help is perverted. The real question remains, why are they afraid? The economic reasons stem from rapidity of results and the long-lasting nature of the cures. As frightening as it is to reduce mental health through business fewer sessions and lower relapse rate means many fewer dollars. The joy and happiness that practicing spiritual psychotherapy can bring to therapists and the patients far outweigh these anxieties and fears. I so believe in this. You have a problem, go for the session and do it. You have a healer, great. You don't have a healer, go to the YouTube and do it on your laptops, or download it if you have paid YouTube. एटलीस्ट ट्राई तो करो कि मुझे ये चीज हटानी है, तो ये लाइफ में मेरी क्यों है. Go into that session asking the question कि मुझे क्यों है, and it'll experiment and tell me that does it work. As I mentioned, holistic and complementary healing techniques are sweeping across the medical establishment, reinvigorating the healthcare scene. There's so many modalities that all of us are there, so many modalities, so many things to heal. Yoga in itself is very healing. When you do the pranayams and the yoga, they ignite your Ida Pingla nadis, your every system opens up. Massages are great. Your blockages in the blood, unko ek wo deti hai. Herbal medication is good. Ghar pe you do it for yourself, not depending on market-made stuff. You don't know kya hai, kya nahi hai. So much is happening. So try and experiment with alternate healing modalities rather than the mainstream. I don't know how many of you saw that series on Netflix called Bollywood Famous Wives or something. One woman is becoming reverse aging with energy, and the others are taking Botox. Who will stay younger and longer life? The one who is working with energy. No done thing. Baki, they'll all get spoiled. Similarly, what are we doing for our healing? When we have a stomachache, proper medicine. Do we talk to the stomach? Okay, why are you hurting? What lesson have you taught? Where did I abuse you? What is there that you can't digest? Okay, I'm sorry that we've understood this. Let's just release that. And then you see yourself going to the bathroom and clearing all the toxic substance. Because the body understands that you are in agreement with it. And now it doesn't have to retaliate. बच्चा rebel कब करता है? जब हम सुनते नहीं है. Body rebel कब करती है? जब हम सुनते नहीं है. तो body कैसे attention ला रही है हमारा? By becoming, maybe, it'll become, you can't see from here, or you'll have stomach ache, or you'll have acid or something. What is making you burn? That's the reason body is calling our attention. But are we giving it attention? Nirogi Kaya is one of the most important things to live a spiritual life. If we are physically not fit, then how will we mentally or energetically become fit? A harmony must be established among the traditional and the holistic techniques so that an individual program can be formulated based upon the symptoms and needs of the particular patient. If our healers, traditional or otherwise, can keep open-minded about other techniques, if they can practice the healing arts with compassion, skill, and mindfulness, and most importantly, if they can treat the spirit as well as the body, then we can truly enjoy optimal health. Now, that's one of my dreams. In the spiritual school of learning, to have a spiritual school of healing. Come with a problem, go back with none. Come and open your minds. This beautiful world of trust, of faith, of hope, of love, of light, of kindness, of compassion. When we go somewhere, we complain, yes, nahi, accept every single thing. And that's something Vipassana teaches us. You live in quarter kind of rooms, no matter how rich or poor you are. You eat the khana that they serve, in the bartans that they have. No ego, because they don't charge you any money. So beautiful. Now, a very beautiful, important part. Chapter 11, Teachers. And for this, I want to start by saying, all of us are teachable and all of us are teachers. This is one journey that should never stop, of teaching and learning, teaching and learning. There are many women here, so I will say, how many of you have taught your staff to work the way they should? How many of you have taught your staff to cook the way you think that's right, or taught your children manners? Yes, you are a born teacher. We are all teachers, each of us. We also must learn not to just go to those people whose vibrations are the same as yours. It's normal to feel drawn to somebody who's on the same level that you are, but this is wrong. You must go to those people whose vibrations are wrong with yours. This is the importance in helping those people. What do you understand by this? It's very simple. Somebody is talking the same language as me, and I go and have a great dialogue with him or her. I'm like, had a soulful talk. Great, wonderful, absolutely amazing. But what is my purpose? To find somebody who's resonating at a lower frequency to help him or her heal. That is my first duty. After having done that, I can go with the person to have a great dialogue. It's different. But remember, the society is teaching us to have an outward path. Ye karo, aisa karo, aisa karo. But our true path is an inward one. This is more difficult path, the more painful journey. We bear the responsibility for our own learning. Isn't that beautiful? बाहर के वर्ल्ड में तो मेरे साथ ऐसा हुआ, मैं विक्टिम हो गया, ऐसा किया, वैसा किया। बट अंदर जब जाते हैं कि मेरे साथ ऐसा हुआ, क्योंकि मुझे लेसन सीखना था और मैंने ये अपने ऊपर लर्निंग लाई है एट अ सोल लेवल, सो आई डू नॉट हैव टू कंप्लेन बिकॉज मैंने लिखा था। Before coming on Mother Earth, we write the lessons that we have to learn and we call upon the situations. And then when we come here, we forget and we think, मेरे साथ क्यों हो रहा है, बाकी लोग कहते हैं ऐसा क्यों नहीं हो रहा, बाकी लोग ने डिफरेंट मैन्यूस्क्रिप्ट लिखा है। एंड जो आज बहुत कार्मिकली इवॉल्व हैं, बहुत ज्यादा हैप्पी हैं, हम्बल एंड हैप्पी हैं, उन्होंने पिछले लाइफ में वो कर्म किए हैं टू नाउ बी एबल टू एंजॉय द फ्रूट ऑफ देयर लेबर। पौधा उन्होंने बीजारोपण किया था एक लाइफ में, दूसरी कई लाइफ में उसको पनपाया, आज वो फल खा रहे हैं इस लाइफ में, इसलिए वो ऐसे हैं और मैं ऐसा हूं। मेरा अभी टाइम क्या है, बीजारोपण करने का या पनपने देखने का। सो हाउ कैन वी कंपेयर ourselves with everybody? Comparison is a killer and very easy to say let's not compare, but very difficult to do. As parents only, we tend to compare our children even though we know we shouldn't. ये ज्यादा लविंग है, ये ज्यादा टाइम स्पेंड करती है, ये ज्यादा कॉल करता है, अच्छा ये आता है तो खाना बनाता तो तारीफ करता है, मजा आता है बनाने के लिए, या मैं ऐसा क्यों हूँ, मेरा हस्बैंड ऐसा क्यों, मेरी वाइफ ऐसी क्यों है, ये ऐसा क्यों, ऐसा मेरे साथ क्यों नहीं है। दिस इज ऑल कंपैरिजन। Wise teachers walk amongst us to show us the way to ease the burdens along our spiritual path. Unfortunately, there are also many pretenders in our midst. Whether driven by ego, false pride, greed, insecurity, or other selfish forces, they masquerade as teachers or gurus. We know this, right? Once upon a time, there was Asaram Bapu and so many like him. All have their own selfish reasons and they make you follow them and then they abuse you. But let's choose the right teacher where we are drawn towards. Let's choose people who are just beautiful. And I have so many such beautiful teachers. Yes, some of them do have, ideas of selling the expensive packages. You join me for this. I stay away from that then. And some I pay also, depending. They tell you what to do when they themselves don't have a clue. So right, right? प्रीच करना कितना आसान है, उसको प्रैक्टिस करना उतना आसान नहीं है। Clearly, it is dangerous to follow such people, but how do we, as loving, open-minded individuals, separate the wheat from the chaff? The key to discerning a real teacher from pretender is to follow your own intuitional wisdom. Our intuition will tell us this is the right person for us. This person is showing me some light. Do the teaching feel right to you? Are they loving, compassionate, non-violent, fear-reducing? Such beautiful qualities. Do they include all other groups, all other humans as equals, as divine souls on the same path of destiny? Do they teach that one is no better than the other, that we are all rowing the very same boat? And do they acknowledge that although they can point out the way, they cannot bring you to the spiritual fulfillment? Please be wary of the person who says, "Oh, यहाँ मेरे पास आ गए, अब तो सब कल्याण हो जाएगा, अब तो सब बढ़िया, सब मंगल हो जाएगा." Nobody can tell anybody how the result will be. Once you can reach your goal, because ultimately our journey home, heaven, is an inward journey, a personal return. Gurus can teach us skills and techniques. They can increase our understanding on life, death, and spiritual planes. They can help to remove fears and obstacles. They can point out the doorway, but it is we who must go through the door, because the kingdom of heaven really exists within us. All joy and happiness comes from within ourselves. We're not going to be rescued by someone else as we experience the true love and become enlightened. We will save ourselves. Isn't that gorgeous to read and to understand and to believe that yes, रास्ता दिखा दिया, जाना मुझे पड़ेगा. क्योंकि किंगडम ऑफ हेवन जो मैं ढूंढ रही हूँ बाहर, वो एक्चुअली अंदर है. जब जितना मैं अंदर जाऊंगी उतना मैं हायर हेल में जाऊंगी. जितना जॉय हैप्पीनेस बांटूंगी और फील करूंगी उतना मुझे मिलेगा. And when you start saying, I am my own hero, I am independent and I attract the right lessons at the right time, so it is. Do you remember Flip Wilson, the wonderful comedian whose character Geraldine would do something sinful or selfish and then stand hands on hips and declare, the devil made me do it. What a powerful projection. The idea that we are not responsible for our actions is an attractive one. It's awfully expedient to have some outside force to blame. And that's what all of us do. Victim, blame game. मैंने नहीं किया, उसने करवाया, उसने ऐसा बोला. Some people blame fate, किस्मत ही खराब है people से. पता नहीं क्या लिखा के लाई हूँ. इतना struggle. Although our lives travel along predetermined courses, fate is not responsible for our actions. Why is fate not responsible? Because ये fate हम खुद लिखवा के लेकर आए हैं. I have to go through this. Although our lives travel along predetermined courses, fate is not responsible for our actions. And just as we must take complete responsibility for our negative and harmful behavior, so we need to take responsibility for a positive and loving behavior. No one else can do this for us. Very powerful. अगर हम इसको भी ध्यान देना शुरू कर देना कि अच्छा भी मेरा, बुरा भी मेरा, अच्छा बिहेवियर किया तो भी आई एम रिस्पॉन्सिबल, बुरा किया तो भी आई एम रिस्पॉन्सिबल, किसी और की वजह से मैं नहीं करता. लोग बोलते हैं वो आया सामने, उसने बोला तो मुझे गुस्सा आ गया, क्योंकि आपने अपनी पावर उनको ट्रांसफर कर दी. So don't blame that person, blame yourself that you're not able to understand that nobody can deter you and shake you. No devil can harm you, and ultimately no guru can save you. Again, a very powerful line. At a conference in Seattle where we were both teaching, I heard the brilliant scholar and mystic Jean Houston warn about the danger of blindly following a guru. Remember, Jean said, the guru is spelled Guru. To my surprise and amusement, the next day Vanity Fair magazine named me the Guru of Miami. Once at the end of the day, after my staff had left and the office had become quiet in the fading twilight, I sank into a deep meditative state. The day had ended on a frustrating note. And over the years, I have found that meditating in a quiet area around the time of dusk soothes me. किसी ने ट्राई किया ये? डॉन में तो हम लोग बहुत मेडिटेट करते हैं, सुबह जब सुबह पौ फटती है तब मेडिटेट करते हैं। जब शाम को संध्या होती है तब मेडिटेशन ट्राई किया, इट इज सो रिलैक्सिंग, अनवाइंडिंग द डे, start the day with meditation, end the day with meditation. It is beautiful. If possible, have your meal before this, or maybe after this, whatever works, like a light meal, and see the quality of your life roar. And to all my spiritual family, we are in a soul's journey. If we can avoid anaj sham ke waqt, millets or anaj, anything sham ke waqt, you will realize that your spiritual progress is so much more. Why? Because the body will not have anaj sitting in it for 12 or 17 hours, and that will become more healing. So try it if you can. Otherwise, whatever you are comfortable with, just an add-on to let you know. अनाज खाइए दिन में, सुबह नाश्ता में खाइए if you want, but evening में if you want, avoid करिए. My last patient that day had once again been unsuccessful in recovering any past life memories. She had a very difficult time, even relaxing and teaching and reaching deeper levels of consciousness. She always seemed to become restless at a certain point in the relaxation exercise. She would spontaneously return to waking consciousness and implore me to move her into a deeper level. The woman is an avid reader and has read many, many metaphysical books and articles. She had attended numerous New Age seminars and workshops. She read about and witnessed the experience of others, but she had no such experiences herself. And she desperately wanted to have her own experience. Lately, she had been reading books about Sai Baba, the famous spiritual teacher from India. And she was considering a trip to India to visit him. Perhaps he could help her past her impasse. I knew immediately that the messages and images flowed through my awareness while meditating that quiet evening pertained to her, my frustrated patient. Our task is not to follow Sai Baba, the message began, but to be Sai Baba. I patiently waited for more. He is love in action, and you must be love in action. Her task in this life is to manifest loving service. At this point, I began to see visual images of my patient's past lives, a kaleidoscope of images flashing before me. I saw many monastic lifetimes, and the answer to her frustration became clear to me. She had lived many lives in solitude, in monasteries, and in convents. She had mastered the art of going within, of meditating to deep inner levels. But in the current life, she needed to live in the real world, among real people, with real problems, to help these people. She needed to express her love and compassion in a public way, and so a block had been placed on her meditation. Otherwise, she would have reverted back to her old pattern of going only to inner states, and she would have neglected her soul's purpose in this life. She would not be acting in the world among the people. Isn't this beautiful? उस सोल ने इतनी साधना करी है, इतना मेडिटेट किया है, इतना अकेले रहे, इतनी इतनी लाइव्स में एज अ मंक, and then now it's time for her to help others. So meditation को ब्लॉक कर दिया सोल लेवल पे, कि अगर मैंने वो पार्ट देख लिया तो वापस मुझे अट्रैक्शन हो जाएगा, I'll go back. So उसका chosen path क्या है? To help people. At the next session, I told her about this meditation experience. She seemed to be immediately relieved, as if a huge weight had been lifted from her shoulders. She was not a failure. She was merely being guided along a chosen path in this life. Been there, done that became her attitude and deep daily meditations. She began to volunteer in programs to help the poor and homeless, and she raised money for many charities. She felt happier than she had ever been. Ironically, as she continued to expand her charitable work, her ability to meditate began to return. She felt balanced, and her work with me came to a natural end. Our task is not to follow Sai Baba, but to be Sai Baba. Everything will be clear to you in time, but you must have a chance to digest the knowledge that we have given to you already. So, absolutely beautiful. Now, this part is something which will open up for another reading day. So, let's close the session by going inward. So, once again, everybody, let's just close our eyes. And today, I will request everybody to switch off the cameras also. When there are no cameras, you are completely in your own inner beautiful world. I request everybody to take 7 deep breaths on their own pace, and each time filling your body with a virtue that you would like to live and a quality that you would like to release. So take a deep, so I'll start you off. Take a deep breath in and fill yourselves with immense light, the bluish white healing light, the golden light. And as you exhale, let go of all the darkness. Whatever is flooding, let go of it. Now, to have the best meditation experiences, do a self guided meditation. When the breath comes in, a virtue comes in. When the breath goes out, some negative programming goes out. 7 times on your own, and then we start again. Enjoy the bliss, the silence, and I'll rejoin you in 7 minutes, in few minutes. Keep breathing in, be with your breath. The mind may wander here and there, but bring it back to acceptance and release, to invitation and release. As you continue to fill your bodies, the space that you live in, and enhance your etheric energy body, let's know that each one of us has chosen this life for our soul's purpose, to furthering our soul's journey. And having tuned into that beautiful fact, it is time for us to go inwards. So, from complaining mindset, from blaming mindset, from victim mindset to acceptance mindset. What lesson was I to learn? And see the challenges in detail. And also see the more you were in denial of the challenge, the more challenge became challenging. And the more easily you accept the challenge, the easier it unfolded. What we resist expands. Each one of us has her or his own set of challenges. So rather than blaming yourself that why did I do what I did, can we understand that at a soul level, I had to meet this particular person, no matter he was very toxic, she was very toxic in my life. But I had to learn to live that, to experiment and experience that toxicity. And now I can let it go because I have the power. Reclaim your power back from that person. And the best thing about this would be imagine that person sitting right in front of you, eyes to eyes, heart to heart, same level you're seated in. And you put your hand on his heart or her heart, and you claim your positivity back, your energy, your power back, and you shake off your body with anything negative that you're holding on. Shake it off as if you're covered in lots of dust in your hair, in your every part of the body, and you're just shaking off the extra dust. And now you can withdraw your hand from his or her heart to yours. I claim my power back. I am love. I am light. I am joy. I am whole. And I affirm that to myself that from now on, there's no looking back. There's only looking within. You can also try and see why that relationship did what it did to you. It must have broken you, but it also made you into somebody who's a better version. And if you became a worse person, then that is also something you had chosen at a soul level. But now you have claimed the power to become the version you wish to become. So the best thing about will be to journal today. Which version of myself do I want to become? And for that, what steps do I have to take? And write those steps down. Smaller steps, break them down into simple ones that you can do them every other day. You have developed a muscle memory, doing little by little every day and reaching where you're meant to be. And with these beautiful thoughts, I leave you today for the day to keep contemplating within, to keep introspection on, to be on this inward path, to make this truly a celebration of becoming free of all your bondages. So happy Independence Day to everybody. 77 glorious years of our being. Let's enjoy and become free internally. Lots of love and light to everybody. I'll see you tomorrow in the gap at 6 a.m. sharp. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love, light, and blessings.